This is not a test. Don't expect to be impressed. Put on your life vest. Sit down your armrest. It's time to stray from the grind. Don't take my hand, 'cause you'll find no peace of mind. Side quest.
Howdy, everybody. It's us, the three most technically inclined members of the Authors and Dragons podcast, trying our best to do a recording and not have it mess up. It is I, the Admiral of the Asshole Armada, the one, the only R.E. Carr, and I am joined by two amazing other members of Authors and Dragons. Introduce yourselves, guys.
I'm Joseph Brassi, author on the Mongoliad and Drifting Land series. Also do a bunch of martial arts, and I play a lot of tabletop games.
Hello, friends. My name is Robert Bevan. I play the role of Klaus Richter. Oh, we're not doing that right
No. I can't run you guys. I mean, although, will you just sit in a bar and look for cats? Because if so, you could play in any James game.
Huh.
Yeah, Robert Bevan, he's amazing. He writes Critical Failures. The book series, not actual failures. So yeah, as I said, it's us having to present a wonderful side quest for you all, and I didn't even bother to get out of my Skeletor pajamas to do it. Because that's 2023.
Yeah, that's the year so far.
Yeah, I think today it's a very special side quest. It's how the three of us are coping with 2023 and all the amazing things thrown at us. Like robots. They're coming for us.
In so many ways.
Yes, and not even robots coming for us like the sex dolls we were promised a few years ago, which I'm highly disappointed in, and I'm still waiting for Daryl Hannah from Blade Runner to enter my life. Preferably with the gymnastics and not be crushing my face with her thighs part, although I am open.
I mean, like, I explicitly remember being promised that the existential threat of sex robots was someone hacking your sex robot and programming it to murder you. So, like, I was hoping that maybe that would take out a few rich people.
There's
But
robot
don't you think-
AIDS.
Yeah, well,
God.
that would be a computer virus to end all computer viruses, wouldn't it? So
I
here
think
we
it's just
go.
somebody smears your robot's naughty bits with AIDS blood.
Oh my God!
I'm low tech. Sorry.
It's slightly harder than you would think to get HIV-infected blood and smear it and keep a virus alive in an inert sample. But don't ask me how I know this shit, because I don't want to reveal it. But yeah, so we'll start with the sex robot. What are your thoughts on sex robots? We'll start with Bevan. Tell me. I am curious what you think about them.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't been following the news. They're still just like dolls, right?
Mostly, but they're becoming more connected to the Internet of Things, much like the interconnected sex toys that let you like stimulate each other over Wi-Fi. So there have been
If
fears.
I've got a robot, I don't need that.
Well, yeah, in theory, but some people want the robots to be just robots. Other people want robots to be placeholders for other people. Kind of like how Spike had in Buffy when he had the Buffy bot. We all know what he did with it.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't afford any of that shit.
Yeah, because 2023, where we're still mortgaging and selling kidneys for a carton of eggs.
Also, I mean, there's storage. I mean, I got a wife and kids, and that's weird.
Well, what else would you use your garage for?
What else, indeed?
I'm never not in my garage.
So that would be a perfect place to store it, wouldn't it?
No.
It's gonna be the new home makeover. HGV TV, instead of how to have your, what is it, how to make a sex room, it's gonna be how to make a sex robot storage bay.
Yeah, I thought you were going the Marie Kondo route.
No, that
With the
we
spark
all
joy.
know that if we pick something up and it sparks joy, we get to keep it. So
Yes.
I would hope our sex robots spark joy.
I want my sex robot to be a contortionist, not because of any weird sexual thing, just easier to store.
I thought for a second you were going to say a little person.
Oh
So I guess
God.
contortionist is slightly better. Slightly.
Marginally.
How about you, Joe? Where would you store your sex robot?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think, because the thing about my house is it has a very open floor plan.
Ease of access.
I mean, yeah, but there's also the awkward, like, I guess, you could just pretend it's a mannequin, put a hat on it, and say, like, it's a conversation piece. I mean, I have a lot of friends who are, like, super into costuming, so having, like, just a human form or human body or, like, around the house is not weird.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
Slightly
well,
weird.
most of the
If
people
you
who
can
would be over my
afford
house.
a sex robot, you can afford a special coffee table.
Why would you put a sex robot in a coffee table?
That's where you keep it.
Do you like press a button and the sex robot rises out of the coffee table?
I don't know. You could say, Alexa, open my coffee table or whatever. I mean,
Alexa,
Oh,
give
that
me
would
the
be
special coffee.
awkward. What if you named your sex robot Alexa? Like, and then it got confused and,
then,
instead of
in the throes of passion, all your lights would be flickering on and Matlock would be coming on TV and shit. And,
because there's such an overflow of people who watch Matlock and have sex robots. It's a known thing.
It's
And then
unfortunate.
accidentally it'll like order you a 6-month supply of dog food right in the middle. Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby, I have ordered you extra large diapers for months.
I
Thanks,
mean,
Alexa.
yeah, no, maybe don't call your sex robot Alexa, or do if you want shit to get really interesting.
Like, how? Please
Oh,
elucidate.
this is like the dog food thing, or like
yeah.
having your lights flickering on and off during the heat of the moment. That sounds like that'd be pretty cool. It's kind of like got a poltergeist vibe. I don't know.
Who
I don't
has
know
a
what people are into.
poltergeist fetish?
Oh, I'm sure
I
they're
don't
out there.
know. There are people
I-
who like to bone outside during thunderstorms. I don't judge them.
Yeah, that's true. We don't kink shame, but we do question.
I do question, yeah, especially the dude. There was a story I read a while back about a couple who were getting it on during a thunderstorm and they got struck by lightning.
Yeah, probably
You
not
would,
advisable to do with a robot.
Yeah, they had to be like
yeah.
they had to be like surgically extricated from each other.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
Oh, was it like she had implants or something and they melted and fused, or just
No,
human?
no, no. It was the other parts.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
apparently his dick looked like cauliflower.
like
What?
the full cauliflower or the flowering cauliflower with the long stem and a little bit at the end?
I think more like branching out in many directions.
That sounds more
It
like
was
broccoli.
maybe it is broccoli. I don't know.
Cauliflower looks like it's just different colored broccoli.
No, cauliflower is like more poofy and solid. Like there's very little space in cauliflower. Broccoli is more stretched out like a tree. How did we go from sex robots to cruciferous vegetables so seamlessly?
I mean, we were talking about kink shaming, and that got me onto thunderstorms.
That's how it works.
Yeah,
Just remember, if you do have a sex robot, do not have sex in a thunderstorm.
yeah, that'd be bad. That'd be tempting fate.
Yeah, I think that would be like having a giant lightning rod attached to your penis.
Yes,
Although
literally.
I'm sure somebody has a kink and has done that. Or
Someone's
maybe
into
that's
it,
just
and you know what? If your kink kills you, at least you die doing what you love.
I bet Benjamin Franklin had that kite tied to his dick.
that's why he's called the founding father.
Oh Jesus!
No, we're not going to bring up Jesus into this conversation.
I mean,
Although we would like to get a goddamn it at some point tonight.
I'm surprised that I haven't spouted one yet.
I've been throwing you a softball, Joe.
No, I know.
Yeah,
and
I know.
I'll work harder.
Okay.
Bevan, I'm very disappointed in you.
Well, it's also that I forget to say it sometimes because I'm just in such a state of shock. I have to
So,
remember that it's a bit.
See, it's like having a discussion about a joke. Once you actually explain it, the charm is entirely lost.
I know.
We're here for you. We'll make it so much worse that you will be
Oh,
forced to
good,
say your
good.
catchphrase.
That's honestly exactly what I need right now.
Okay.
Um,
Because this is 2023, where we're legitimately considering sex robots because that is actually the least invasive and horrible artificial intelligence we can think about right now as artists and authors.
yeah, I have seen precisely one use of like chat AI, like AI bots that I approve of, and that's in several like niche communities that I'm in. People have programmed bots to generate discourse about the community. So like one of my friends programmed a chat AI bot on a bunch of like sword community discourse and then
Okay.
started making it have hot takes and started like training it to have hot takes, and then he would insert, it would be like line like, spout a line of discourse about X topic, insert a penis enlargement pill ad midway through. And so you'd
Well,
get these people who would be reading this hot take from the community that they love, and it sounds like an argument they've heard so many times before, and then all of a sudden they're assaulted by they are surprised by a dick enlargement pill ad midway through.
would anyone who fondles swords regularly be truly surprised by penis
I mean, not
enlargement
surprised,
advertising?
but taken a little off guard. People are weird when they get super into their niche topics.
I
So
wouldn't know
I
what you're
don't know.
talking
Why do you
about.
approve of this?
I approve of
Just
it because
because?
it's funny. It's the only
Okay, all
virtuous
right.
use of AI. Like the only virtuous use of AI is like stupid jokes and surrealist weirdness.
And
I wouldn't
choking
say only.
bandwidth on evil people. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
but speaking of evil, how do you feel about what was it, the Microsoft chatbot deciding it had evil altered personalities? Like we came this close to Skynet from Bing. How do you feel
I
about that?
heard about
I,
it, but I
I'm
haven't
not
I
sure we
haven't read
did.
I haven't read the details on it. I
Yeah, their bot started inventing basically dark alter egos and did its own shit posting of evil things.
Is that like that a couple years back a like AI bot was created and they put it on Twitter to see what would happen, and like within like several hours it had become a conspiracy theorist fascist.
I mean, that's just being on Twitter, isn't it?
I mean, not all of us. We're all on Twitter.
Not all men, Rachel. Um, I'm not on Twitter.
God damn
God
it.
damn it. Damn it, got me. I'm sorry, I was just lumping you two together with the same assholes who say I don't have any right to have opinions on Star Trek or Star Wars.
Star Wars, mentioning Star Wars and Star Trek on Twitter is so fucking fraught.
Oh yeah, yes.
That's like yeah.
It used to be you could like things or have an opinion, and whatever you thought about the Jar Jar discourse, today it's like you say something akin to, "Hey, I enjoyed Last Jedi," and then prepare to hide in a bunker for a month.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen that shit. Like I love Star Wars and I love Star Trek, but the fandom scares me.
Yeah, it's kind of like religion. The original canon is way better than the fandom versions.
Oh,
But yeah, as
just
we're talking about AI, so yes, just
yeah.
like in AI Twitter, they started feeding things and it immediately started going evil, which is kind of making me wonder if every sci-fi writer from the, 80s, well, actually the 70s through the 80s was spot on for as soon as robots start, realizing they're aware, they're going to get rid of us. Your thought?
How much of that is true, though? I mean, like I read a little bit about it, but
Do you
I don't
think
know. I
that
don't know how
it
much
was
of it to
slightly
believe.
fed? Because
I would
if you think
imagine
about it,
so.
well, AI scrape public records. They scrape public things. There's so much about Skynet. There's so much about pop culture about AIs going bad. Do you think that our own history is being taken in by these infant AIs and we're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Well, I don't think it's fulfilling anything. I think as soon as anybody gets wind of it, they're gonna say, "Oh, ha ha ha, Skynet," and then it's a big brouhaha and whatever. I'm not concerned about this.
I still apologize to my Alexa and my Google because if the robot overlords take over, I'd like them to kill me last.
I do think there's something interesting to the idea that you know I hadn't thought about the fact that you put a bot on the net and have it scrape a bunch of data to formulate what amounts to a AI personality, and what's it going to get? It's going to get a whole bunch of history of everyone saying AI is bad.
Yeah.
So naturally, that's what it starts spewing because it's like
So are the AI
create a
bros
child.
just being self-serving to go, hey, yay, they're great because, they want to be the last to be sent to the camps in the Terminator zones.
Just like little Johnny with the negative reinforcement. He turned to drugs.
Drugs are bad, or was it violent video games that made him bad?
Now it was his parents telling him, "You're no good, Johnny. You
Poor
suck."
Johnny. Now I'm feeling bad for Johnny, the thing that Mr. Bevan just made up.
Have you
And
seen that? Have you guys seen the video? There's like a bunch of video supercuts of the Boston Dynamics robots being just pushed over or randomly kicked because they're testing them to see like how
their
well they can
balance
get
and
back
the
up and
right.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still like just a supercut of these robots just being knocked over and pushed and kicked and abused, and it's like, and this is why, and we wonder why the robots will be coming for us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and then
thought you were gonna
AI is
say
gonna
they're
see that. It's like,
just testing him to see how much shit they're willing to take.
Yeah, basically.
that was like a whole arc in the Orville. And I don't want that to come true because I really don't want to deal with the Kazon in a few hundred years. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen the Orville, which I'm sure knowing this audience, they haven't, it has one of the best arcs about AI. So they have their Data-like character named Isaac, and he's a race called the Kazon, and they're like legit, we hate your shit organics robots. And
Nice.
when you see their history, you're like, yep, you have a very real beef with organic life. So it is interesting.
I need to watch the Orville. I've heard really good things about it.
I will say it's one of those shows where the first season, it really does take about 6 episodes to get it's like pretty much as soon as Charlize Theron shows up. Yes, don't
Okay.
ask me how. They got Charlize Theron in there. It actually settles in, but it has that, when a show is trying really hard to make the jokes, kind of like this podcast, we're like really trying hard to make the jokes. When they stop that, it actually becomes funny.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it's a rare case where they manage to be utterly hilarious and parody, in a way, Star Trek. But because they're so earnest and clearly love science fiction and actually take time to build up their own mythology, it doesn't feel like it's punching down. It doesn't feel like a cheap shot.
That's
And
cool.
they have porn, legit holodeck porn addiction as their like PSA story of the week. And I'm thinking, yeah, if there were
That's what would
lonely
happen.
people in deep space, what do you think the first thing they would program that holodeck to do? Sex robots, or in this case, sex holograms.
Is there a whole thing about having to, clean the excess out of the holodeck?
That's in Lower Decks, actually. The
Oh,
the
nice. Okay, cool.
holodeck cleanup maneuver. Oh, yeah. They do have that mentioned in Lower Decks, and I think there is some in the Orville.
Okay,
But
cool. Because I've always wondered about that. Like, if you're banging holograms, it's not going to go anywhere.
it's like if it's solid, but
Gotta
they do
go
say the
somewhere.
light is
Gotta go
solid.
over
So
the wall.
until the hologram is like dissipated, it would be stored in its matrix. So who do you think was the first person in Starfleet who thought, gee whiz, we're gonna have to create some sort of workaround for containing spooge?
I don't know, but I bet they. Well, no, I'd say I'd say they were probably hailed as a champion by all of the space janitors.
Yeah, the Space Janitors League is like, there's this one Ferengi, and he invented the spooge remover program, and we
I'm
love
sure
him.
they have shower technology.
They
I
have
mean,
shower
sure, yeah.
technology, but like, is it like a little micro phaser on the holodeck that just vaporizes the spooge? Because they have to code it so they don't accidentally like misfire and hit you right in the jubblies.
That is a terrifying thought.
Hey, I had to sneak in Star Trek some way because I'm a massive Trekkie, and now we're wondering, where does the spooge go?
I mean, it's a valid question. I've wondered it since I was a wee lad. By that, I mean a teenager.
I always wondered how many female members of, or male, I'm not judging, of Starfleet had like special Captain Kirk programs. Or Spock. Mine would be Spock, let's be real. Because they had the whole episode about where Geordi created Lena Brahms in the Next Generation, his like
Mhm.
the version, and she slowly started as the program evolved because he wrote it, and with his input, it sort of became more and more into him, which is
Uh-oh.
all shades of creepy, but yeah, and then the real Lena Brahms actually discovered her, and it's very problematic, but also, yeah, how many people do you think in Star Trek have programmed someone to yeah, do the
There was
old
a,
Starfleet shuffle?
there was a Deep Space Nine episode about this, I feel like.
That was because a guy was paying Quark. He was paying a huge sum to have a replica of Major Kira
I remember that,
for a
yeah.
personal sex slave. But that was a Ferengi for profit. You could see the Ferengi doing it.
Oh yeah,
But
sure. I just remember that
lofty Starfleet.
I just remember that in the end they put Quark's head on Kira's body.
It was brilliant.
That was good.
I wonder how much fun Armin Shimmerman did. He apparently loved all the people who played the Ferengi, and they had special like rehearsals
Oh, okay.
on the weekends because the makeup process was so long. They didn't get as much rehearsal time, so they would actually go above and beyond and meet on the weekends.
Okay. That's
I know
cool.
way too much about Deep Space Nine.
Worth knowing
Way
about.
too much.
We lose
It is.
Bevan.
Yes, we actually Sorry, we set the hologram. Oops, we didn't just get the spooge.
Oh no, he's back.
But is it real Bevan or is it hologram Bevan?
Oh, I wasn't listening. What?
We we accused you of being vaporized, that the spooge vaporizer missed and took all of you.
Hmm.
So we're wondering if you're really there or a hologram.
I'll never tell.
This AI thing, I mean, the most recent development I know about it is the whole Clark's World having to close submissions thing,
Uh,
which was
yeah, we should talk about that because I think all of us, we write in genre fiction and we like getting
yeah.
paid.
Mm-hmm.
So how
Oh, is this
pissed off
about?
were you?
All right, what? Run it by me. I heard bits and pieces. What happened?
You want to take it, Joe, or you want me to?
Sure. So a periodical a fiction magazine called Clark's World, which is one of the more prestigious magazines, basically one of the things that distinguishes them is that they're always open for submissions instead
They're
of
one of the
having a
very
submissions
few.
period. One
Yeah.
of the very few. And they had a huge glut of AI submissions, basically people generating like crappy short AI stories and then like spamming their submission folders to the point
Yeah,
that they
you look at the
actually,
graph, it's like whoop, all the way up.
yeah, they basically, so they actually for the first time ever closed submissions so that they could like sort through all of the trash to find the actual real human
And
submissions.
there's been stuff in like dark web boards of get rich quick because the SFWA members and their publications are their rate is 8 cents a word. It's one of the highest of any short story fiction,
Mhm.
much more than literary magazines. So it's the biggest bang for your buck. You right now the chat bots can't write whole novels, or at least can't write them very well, but they can write short stories up
Mhm.
to
But
about
still not very
10,000
well.
words. No, but have you read
But
a
the
slush pile at a major publication?
yeah, it's so is the so basically the idea, if I'm understanding this correctly, is a bunch of these like twerps have decided that if they can spam these periodicals, they can make a whole bunch of money.
Yes,
Wow.
it's like what you I think you had said this in a tweet. There's this phenomenal cult of the idea man, that the
Oh yeah,
idea
that
is
yeah.
somehow the most precious part of
Mm-hmm.
creativity. Um, I know I'm paraphrasing you,
Yeah,
so
no. I remember it's basically the idea that it's that group of people who imagine that like specifically where I remember hearing about it is
Video
the
games is
video games.
huge.
Yeah, they imagine that there's this guy at video game companies whose job is to come up with an idea for video games, and then everyone else like spins it into gold while he sits in his office and continues to just think of ideas. And
Like he's Ruppel fucking Stiltskin.
they're convinced that these AI programs is the way to become the idea man. It's like, oh, sweet, I don't need to write it or anything. I can just be an idea man and spew my ideas at a computer that will manifest them for me. Of course, what's funny about this is even if they were right, even if they were correct, all that their new paradigm would do is devalue the idea man. Like,
Because
if
they could
literally
hire an
anyone,
intern who could just, pay them $5 an hour to throw out 100 ideas because statistically speaking, quantity will always beat out quality
Mhm.
over the long term. If you throw enough spaghetti at the wall, it will stick more than trying to carefully put one strand on.
I mean, like, I don't. The biggest thing to me is not the threat that AI is going to like replace real writers in terms of quality. But what it can do is gum up the works of traditional periodicals to the point that they become like the threat to me, like when it comes to publishers, is if AI submissions start absolutely obliterating slush piles and making
You're
it
going to need
almost
an agent for everything, even a
you
short
need
story.
well, you won't just need an agent for everything. Basically, editors will start going exclusively to agents who are already established and who they know and trust. So, like, the traditional publishing world, which is already so much about who you know, will become even more about who you know. It'll become even more insular. It'll become even more like,
An echo
basically,
chamber.
it'll result in the gates that are already kind of locked becoming even more locked and then chained.
Yeah.
That's kind of the biggest threat that I can see of AI and traditional publishing to me. I mean, like in indie world, it's a whole different
Well,
sort of
I'm
thing.
pretty sure it'll be soon because we know we had it when Amazon started Kindle Unlimited, and they
Mhm.
had these farms of people who would literally do like the same 10 pages over and over again for 1,000 pages, and then pay farms of basically slave labor in third world countries to just page through and collect Kindle Red page bounties. So do you think it's going to start on Amazon that there's going to be a flood of like instead of 100 new books in a day in a category, it'll be 1,000 and 900 of them are written by AI.
I'd be shocked if that's not the case already.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in some they're gonna what they'll start doing is mining the keywords, mining the tropes, ripping off. I mean, we thought copy paste Chris, who was doing all the plagiarism and ghostwriting, was bad. They're just gonna do it on a massive scale. And this is why I drink, guys.
Yeah, sake does sound real appealing. I think
I have
I think
sake
like
as well. Excellent choice.
I don't know. That's like I said, I
Cold and refreshing Bud Light.
We are not sponsored by any of these brands, but we are willing to be if you would like us to drink your booze on camera. Thank you. Shameless plug
um
achieved.
I have like a weird feeling about all of this, which is like on the one hand it's fucking terrible, but there's also a part of me that's like the creative industries have kind of always been fucking terrible. And like I
Oh,
can't think of a
please
time
tell
in
us
history
more.
when huh?
Tell us more about how our
Well,
livelihoods are terrible.
no, I mean like, you know, look back at the Renaissance, you weren't going to get much done as an artist unless you had a patron,
That
you
is
know.
true.
You
Now
weren't
we have
going to
Patreon,
get
which you
Oh,
can
yeah.
subscribe to, by the way. Just saying. Authors and Dragons at
Yep,
Patreon.
subscribe to the Authors and Dragons Patreon.
You get more content like this and
I
the
think
answers to the questions of Holodeck Spooge.
it is absolutely top quality. Um I think it's that I don't know. It's that maxim of like in every time period, in every no matter how shitty things are, human beings always manage to find a way to experience some sort of joy. Um, we're actually pretty good at surviving, and I think that there's always gonna be people who are looking for like actual good stories.
And
There's
ours too, we hope. But
um
Yeah,
do you think it's
I'm
going to
not
be more
threatened by this at all.
I think that
do you
it's
really think that there's going to be an AI that creates such masterpieces as your shingles verse, Mr. Bevan?
No, fuck. The rest of you can't even do it.
Hey, I just do shingles that are I am like the little palate cleanser shingles that break yours up, Mr. Bevan. I am purposefully different. I'm like that Legend of Zelda episode that's on the Super Mario Brothers show once a month. That's what I am.
oh my god. Well, excuse me, princess.
It's
God.
fine. Yeah. Okay. Don't you Trevor Belmont me. Um,
No, that's the never mind.
no, I know. I'm
Oh, okay, gotcha.
yeah,
Um
I was expanding to the greater Nintendo Power cartoon universe and
oh
then Trevor
Jesus, yes.
Bel
Okay.
Yes,
Gotcha.
Trevor Bel I
Trevor
can
Belmont.
take your deep cut and cut even deeper, Mr. Brassy.
No, you absolutely can. You
But
absolutely can.
no,
I am not aware of the deep magic when it comes to
I was
video games
there.
especially.
That's
I
because you're
am
a baby.
I am absolutely not well, and you have a background in like video games journalism, yeah?
I do. I do.
So like you are infinitely more qualified to talk about that shit than I am.
I am a rare woman that has been allowed to speak of the video games and not been doxxed yet. So, give it time.
Knock on
Give it
wood.
time. Knock on wood. But no, you were saying that. So you think you're fairly safe from AI because why do you
Machines
think
can't do
you
what
are?
I do.
Okay, tell me why. Tell me
No, and
more.
I mean, I've seen examples of what it can do. I've played around with it a little bit. Uh, yeah, it's a neat toy. It's cool what they've accomplished. I'm impressed, but it's I don't even want to say it's got a long way to go because I don't think it's ever going to get there. There is a human touch that I don't think will ever be replicated by machines.
The Bevan touch, never to
Not,
be
I'm not talking
replicated
about
by
me in
machine.
particular. I'm
No,
talking about
I kind of agree.
there. There's
Yeah,
something that it can make a story. It can learn maybe a little bit about pacing, a little bit about what the what do you call it, the ups and downs, the
like a
God damn,
flow
I'm
and
a
the ebb
fucking
and
writer,
flow of a story.
whatever.
The
Yeah, but
But it's only copying other humans. Is that what you're saying? It can't truly spontaneously create.
it's not gonna, it can't go for the feels.
Yeah, I think I agree with this on a specific level, which is that um the fact that like at least where it is now, and like my caveat to this is I genuinely have no idea where it's going because this shit moves so quickly and it generally gets very weird the more it advances.
It does. It goes in it's kind of like watching you know how a comet thread starts at a certain point and then like 3 pages down there's like Hitler and cats and everything
Yeah.
goes crazy.
Yeah, I think that like the thing about AI, at least as it is right now, is it's still completely imitative. It can't
Hmm.
it can't come up with original ideas because it's literally just taking the sum total of what's out there and like mashing it and recreating the same stuff.
I was gonna say it's
Well,
making it that vanilla kind of very
yeah,
bland generic prose because it's taking the
yeah.
average of so much.
So like what AI is going to come for is shit that's already incredibly derivative to begin with. And the fans it's going to come for are people who only like extremely derivative things.
And don't get me wrong, we're not, because there are some. Have you ever gotten in a mood? It's the Hallmark movie mood. Maybe
Mhm.
not specifically that, but where you don't know what you want, but you don't want to be surprised. You just
Yeah.
want. It's like comfort. It's Kraft macaroni and cheese
Yeah.
in entertainment form.
And I'm not even sure it can totally come for that because there's something to like even a comfort read or a comfort, something that's very familiar. Um its power is in the fact that it can, like Bevan said, it can generate an emotional connection to the reader. And I have yet to read any AI story that actually accomplished that. That actually, like, even if it's extremely derivative, it
Mhm.
can't. It doesn't have the spark.
So you're saying that the machines don't get our emotions quite yet.
No, I don't think so. And I'm not sure that they will because, and the reason I'm not sure that they will is there seems to be this, like, in all a lot of these AI stories, and I'm talking specifically about like sci-fi stories about AI.
Yeah,
There
because
seems
that's
to
what the current glut seems to be.
Yeah, there seems to be an assumption that as the computer intelligence or whatever advances, it's going to do so in a way that mimics our advancement. That's going to mimic the way we think and that's going to mimic the way we feel. And I'm not convinced that that's how it's going to work. Like, a machine that self-actualizes and becomes like sentient, why would it think like a human? You know?
And why would it want to create poetry or whatever?
Why do
Yeah,
we
it's
want
like,
to create poetry? I mean, none of the
Because
three.
we're
I don't think
human.
it. Do any of us do poetry?
Well,
I did a long time
any
ago.
artistic endeavor
No,
is what I'm saying.
I was more curious if either of you had done poetry because I can imagine it would be radically different.
A little while. I haven't written like straight up poetry in a while, but I have written some. I've never
I
tried
have
to
as
sell any
well.
though.
That
No,
is
it's
so
not
weird.
something
I
I
don't
would try and
think
sell.
I've written any poetry other than as a required school assignment. So I'm legit curious about it.
Um, I mostly
What makes
started doing
someone
it
want to
as
write a poem?
I just started doing it as an offshoot of like my love of fantasy that just had poetry in it.
Okay.
That was something that I liked about Tolkien stuff, and so I imitated it a lot when I was in high school. But I also occasionally wrote it as an adult just to kind of get some feelings out. Like I said, I've never tried to sell any of it. Um, and
It's
most
not
of
a
the
huge market. That's one thing that the AI is not coming for because it doesn't pay, at
Yeah,
least
and
not currently.
I've also just like most of the poetry I've written as an adult has just been kind of weird and surrealist. Um,
Mine's just
which
dirty rhymes.
Do you do limericks? I am
nothing
curious.
wrong with that.
I have.
Oh, that's neat. I'd love to hear one.
There were somebody asked me to write some for a book that was it was being sold at the last day in Decon. I forgot who it was, but yeah, they probably asked a few of you
Oh,
too.
was it the Quick Draw,
Maybe.
the one for charity by Noah?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. There
I
are
was in that.
some limericks of mine in there.
So there is a
That's
book that
great.
has your limericks and my story.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I will have to pull it out. As we somehow managed to have pull it out and total package in the same episode
I
where we
got
have
that.
holodecks. Boo. Well played, sirs. Well played. Um, yeah. I mean, so you brought up a very good point. I know we're supposed to be like funny and irreverent, but what would a machine do if it advanced in intelligence? Would a machine want to write poetry?
If it did, I can't imagine that it would be. I mean, like at first, I guess it would be imitating human poetry, since what AI does is imitate what humans do at this point. But like, if again, one of the things that I would define as, and again, I am not an AI expert. I'm not even a sci-fi guy. But if I had to define at what point does an artificial intelligence like cross the line from just being a complex algorithm to being like a sentient being, it would be when it stops doing derivative stuff that's just amalgamated from internet scraping and starts actually creating something that's unique to its experience.
According
Like,
to Short Circuit is when it can laugh at a joke.
interesting. That's
Johnny Five.
Johnny Five is alive.
I kind of like that.
I mean, it is a concept because the very nature of laughing at a joke is surprisingly a difficult like construct. Like
Hmm.
because you always say like dying is easy, comedy is hard.
Oh yeah.
it's so easy. You can always do something like if you kill the puppy, people are sad.
Hmm.
But
Humor is
what
hard.
makes people laugh is entirely subjective to so many thousands of independent factors that what would make an AI laugh?
Yeah.
Other than farts. I mean, well, actually, AIs don't fart, so they wouldn't even laugh at the universality, the constant of funny in the human experience is flatulence. Would an AI laugh at it?
Yeah, I have no idea. That's kind of like I said, that's sort of why I'm not exactly threatened by the idea of AI becoming self-actualized, or at least like I'm not threatened in the sense of it's going to take my job away. Part of that
At least
is,
not immediately.
at least not immediately. But also like whatever it becomes is probably not going to be what I expect, and it's probably going to be pretty fucking weird.
I like pretty fucking weird though. I hang out with you guys.
And I mean, so I don't know. I guess I'm a little I guess I'm worried for the sort of structural threat of it, like fucking with submission systems and
Yeah.
But even then, that's not really the AI doing it. That's humans. That's humans being assholes. You know.
Do you think it's going to be something like NFTs, where there's a crush and a pain, and then I mean, when's the last time you've heard crap about NFTs lately?
Well,
Not recently.
NFTs were a flash in the pan. AI is, I mean, that will ever continue to evolve.
Yeah.
But do you think this
AI
like current
isn't going
streak
anywhere.
of like
No.
flooding
I think,
submissions and stuff?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's going to be a bit of a flash in the pan, primarily because the reason they're doing it, like, it comes down to one question: are they doing it because they're trolling the system and trying to break it, or are they doing it because they actually think they're going to make money? If it's the latter, then they're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
And once they don't make money, they're going to just wander away, at least from...
They realize, for all this fucking work I'm doing, I could have just written a book.
Yeah.
And the other, if they're just trolling, the thing about, like... full confession, I spent a period of my late teens and early 20s on 4chan. Like, I would browse the boards, I was kind of like... So I'm familiar with the subculture.
That watching the world burn, break it because you can mentality.
And the thing about these people is, while they're very dedicated when they have a target picked, they get bored quickly. So like, when they're... And I'm not talking about, like, obviously, the cycle of harassment of specific individuals can persist for a very long time. But when I talk about things like... one random example I can think of is when 4chan decided to attack the Church of Scientology.
They occasionally do good.
Yeah, that lasted for a couple of months to a year, and then they got bored. And they went to do something else. So, like, if they're just trolling the publishing system, then they're going to get bored.
Okay. I guess that brings to the follow-up question of all of this. Is there any good for AI? Is there anything we can actually use in it, besides just the obvious of, finally, something can tell me where the fuck to put a comma?
So again, I'm not an expert, but
I'll say not yet.
Yeah, I think not.
In its current state. Like even
Have you used it for anything? Or just
no,
played
just
around?
played around with it, and then I watch a lot of YouTube videos about this sort of thing, and people are saying, "Oh, you can use it to do web content and stuff." And like, I get a lot of content written for my website, and I would not let AI anywhere near there in its current state.
Is it that bad?
It's not bad. It's just so it's nothing. It's filler.
Okay.
Like 100% filler.
Yeah,
So it tells you exactly what you need to know in the most boring way possible. Is that what you mean?
Well,
or
not even boring. It's just like, when I outsource my content, I want something that it's going to draw viewers in. They're going to read an article. They're going to say, "Oh, that was an experience I'm happy with. I'm going to bookmark this site. I'm going to come back. I want to see, what this site has. I want to know this site's opinion on other things that it talks about." AI is not going to give them that experience.
No.
It is.
No.
It might be able to, like, do some SEO ninja stuff for keywords or whatnot. It's going to be short term. People are going to, see that and say, oh yeah, I've been burned by that website before. Skip. That sort of thing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a valid point.
Like, in order for it to make people's lives better, the things it automates would need to be things that things where doing those things isn't something that people rely on for a job. Like, it would need to not take jobs away. I suppose if it could streamline some things, I guess that would be good. But I kind of agree that not in its current form, because again, in its current form, it just kind of imitates shit. And when it comes to generating web content, like kind of like adjacent to what Bevan said, most AI, like, I guess I've heard people say that they could use AI to generate quick opinion pieces, but the thing is, those opinion pieces aren't going to say anything.
I've seen a few of them, and it's like, when you're talking to your guidance counselor at your school, and you can tell they're just quoting something out of a book, and they don't care. It feels exactly like that. It's like, you would be an excellent creative individual, Rachel. I'm like, I know that, but how will that pay for my life, sir? That kind of thing.
Yeah, it's that perfect example of, like, you read an AI opinion piece and it's like, wow, that's a lot of words that said nothing.
Well, like architecture in a communist place, like, yeah, it's functional, but
has no soul.
Like Joe was saying, the spark isn't there.
Yeah.
I mean, have either of you tried writing an outline for something with AI?
No, I played with the Chat GPT very briefly, and I got bored with it. And
yeah, I tried to generate a few outlines, and it was literally like it just repeated, like, and then your main person meets, their love interest.
Well, then, I mean, to be fair though, I didn't give it enough of a chance. I have, like I said, I watch a lot of YouTube videos about this sort of thing. I have seen impressive things. You have to learn how to finagle it. You got to learn the chat. You got to learn the dance, the back and forth, what it can understand, what it's going to struggle with. When you get a little more experience with it, you can do more interesting things, I would imagine.
Kind of like on the Mid-Journey art prompts, where I've seen some people create some amazing stuff, and I look at it and go, draw me a snowman.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess it's a tool, I think, for certain. I could see it maybe for outlining, maybe for just like sorting notes, or I'm wondering if eventually I could use it to skim and do like character sheets or character bios, like what friggin' eye color does this person have? I could see maybe in the future using it for some of those administrative and note-keeping tasks. Like, if you've got a book that has 6 or 8 books in a series, if something could read it and just summarize them, that would be helpful. But I haven't seen that really work yet. I've only seen outlines that were at least moderately useful.
I suppose an interesting tack you could take. And again, I don't know if it can even do it at this point. But, like, you could say, summarize X book. Tell the program to summarize X book and see what it does. I guess. Yeah.
I know Rick did it to read his books, and it described like 3 books he'd never written, and we're just like, oh, what are these? So, I mean, it has some hilarious misinformation. I had it write a vampire story in my style, like a short one, and it was the most cutesy, Disney-fied crap, and I'm like, is that what I write?
I think that as well, it's just, like I said, I think the technology is just kind of too young, and it's good for spamming shit. It's good for generating crap and generating it very, very quickly, which I guess... It is
good for grammar and spelling. I will say that grammar checkers and spell checkers in the past 3 years are leaps and bounds what they used to be.
Yeah, that's valid. So I'm sure that's
text to speech. which is an AI function. I will say
Mhm.
that's one of the few good things, because for people who can't write, like when my hands were bound up from
Mhm.
carpal tunnel, text to speech saved me.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do that even, I mean, it was in its infancy just 10 years ago. And that is an AI function. It's a
Yeah, that's a good
natural,
function. I would agree with
natural
that.
language processing is a huge improvement in the past few years. I know they use it in medical professions too. It saves lives
Mhm.
because it reads like progress notes and pulls out information. I'm a little terrified at how much AI is being used in modern medicine after seeing it recently, but I mean, it does stuff like that save my son's life. So
Yeah. I'm worried about AI that decides to start like when they start using AI to diagnose stuff. I'm worried about that.
it's
but-
already being used partially, because what it
Okay.
does is it will read it's the same thing that the Chat GPT does. It reads all your progress note history and it pulls out the keywords and produces potential diagnoses
Okay.
over multiple reported, because it might be you saw a doctor 2 years ago for a chest pain and then you had a foot pain at a different doctor, and if they don't necessarily know to look for it,
Mhm.
it skims and combines and goes, maybe there's a whole systemic issue like lupus or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I suppose that's a good thing then.
They also use it for, you were prescribed this medication, this medication, this medication, and this medication, and to try to prevent kind of the
Side effects.
not just the side effects, but like the Michael Jackson thing where he was getting painkillers from multiple unrelated doctors that was allowing him to get enough to overdose.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So thank you, AI. Please don't kill us first. We appreciate your helping people through modern medicine. But it's kind of scary in a way because it's change.
Change is always scary.
I'm not afraid.
It is. You're not afraid? What scares you, Mr. Bevan?
Heights and cockroaches.
What about a bunch of cockroaches at a very high height?
Yes.
Okay. Good to know. Note to self, do not.
I've only had one bad cockroach experience in my life, and I feel like it kind of makes up for the fact that I have not had any other ones. It's like I crammed all of the bad cockroach experiences into one.
Oh, please tell us this
It
cockroach.
crawled out of the
I
train
want to know
once
your
in
good
college.
cockroach experience.
Yeah, what is your good cockroach experience?
No. I had like one really bad cockroach experience. Like I only had one cockroach experience, and that was
Only
when,
one
like,
in your whole life.
one that was like this big crawled
Oh,
out of
God.
the drain in my shower while I was taking a shower.
I went to India to train for my day job. I was not prepared for the size. And I just turned on the light, and it was the same thing. They crawl out of the drain. And I screamed like a little girl. I won't lie. It was very high pitched, nearly supersonic scream. I think I alerted nearby cats and dogs to my presence. And then I ran. And the lovely landlord, he was a pacifist too. So he took a cup and took Skippy the cockroach out of my bathroom. And from then, and I knew he came back because I saw the feeler. So we had an agreement for the rest of my stay in Ahmedabad is that I would turn on the light, wait a minute because the light would make him disperse. And I was like, you do your thing, Skippy, and I will do mine. But yeah, they are built different in India.
That doesn't surprise me.
And I hope we haven't unnerved Mr. Bevan with our cockroach tales. The worst, though, that was actually not my worst cockroach experience. If you want my worst cockroach experience, it involved a movie theater, a Reese's Pieces, and a very unexpected crunch. That was my worst cockroach experience. It took years to be able to eat a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Was it like inside the wrapper?
It was on the cup. I bit through that. I killed a cockroach with my teeth.
Cool.
It's pretty gross.
It was absolutely horrifying.
I don't remember this, but my parents apparently, we lived in an apartment that had cockroaches when I was really, really little. And my mom's breaking point was when she found me playing with one.
You had a positive experience with a cockroach. You
I
would
don't
have just
remember it,
related it.
I was like, I must have been like 2 years old or something.
Aw.
Playing with a cockroach.
At least you didn't bite it in half.
No, that's true.
Do you have any cockroach stories you'd like to share, Robert?
No. In fact, I don't want to talk about them at all.
I will respect
Sorry.
that.
Huh.
What would well, I think, you know what? It's a good time to just pimp our shit and go, thank
Yeah.
you, AI overlords. Please kill us last. What would you guys like to pimp this fine side quest? What have you got out? I'll start with you, Robert.
Same thing as I've had out for a while. Skyfarer and Dragon Road are out anywhere books are sold, at least for the moment.
But you do have an awesome, amazing work in progress that I got to get a sneak preview of.
Yes, I did. I have a number of works in progress that I am trundling away on. This with my agent right now, and I'm writing summaries. Lovely.
You should have it. You know what you should do? You should try Chat GPT to see
Oh,
if it can
God.
write your summaries. Come on, just see what it does as an experiment to end this side quest. We would like to know what it says.
Okay. What it says.
Sounds like a good follow up. But yes, Mr. Bevan, the writer of Critical Failures. What is it? Is it number 9 or are you up to 10?
Oh no. Supposed to be working on 10.
Totally working on 10. He's just being modest. And yes, I am R.E. Carr. My latest book, The Accidental Summoner, is published by Falstaff Press, which officially means that John Hartness owns my soul. Please buy it. It's a book about a demon accidentally summoned via burrito. And no AI was used in its creation.
Yay.
So yes, I have been R.E. Carr, and I would like to thank you for joining us for our surprisingly deep and existentially questioning artificial intelligence side quest. Maybe we actually have some actual intelligence here.
Maybe.
So, maybe. Until I speak to you again, toodaloo and bye.
Goodbye, friends.
Authors and Dragons is brought to you under a Creative Commons license, meaning you are free to share this material so long as credit is given to those who created it, which is us, the people you just heard play the game. Opening and closing themes performed by the Gore Core 4.
Authors and dragons!